I'm really surprised you didn't notice my mental battle with the Coke can. Because I picked it up to drink and I was like, if I put it down, will the sound pick up? So then I just hover.
No, yeah, I didn't see that. I wish we had, because I wanted to see like sweat, just like. I can't hold it forever.
I didn't know what to do once it was in my hand.
It didn't occur to me what you were doing.
What do I do with my hands? Oh, that's great.
I mean, there's a lot of sound stuff that makes its way in. I mean, between, bumping stuff and his snorks that happen from time to time.
Snorks.
Your snorks.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Can I tell you, I've talked about it on the Let's Plays before. There is something about when I start recording that all the snot in my head just like, hey, let's go. Let's get out of here. Like, at the same time. It's terrible.
If I ever feel like I need to just drink myself to death, I'm going to make my own drinking game and watch and listen to the whole channel and just drink anytime you snore.
I hate to say it. I hate it. That, and every time I belch and then immediately apologize for it. Because I do all the time, because I'm always drinking a pop, and I hate belching because I think it's unprofessional on the recording, but I'll just be like, da-da-da, I'm so sorry. Okay.
That thing though, you do that regardless of when you're.
You just did it. I know I just did it. We're talking
about it.
I do not do that.
You do. Like we'll just be watching TV and all of a sudden, I can't even do it.
I have there's something going on in the back of my sinus, man.
I think you just don't realize it unless you're
maybe you're right.
Paying attention
it does not like me. I have weird hard snot issues. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Yeah, like when I'm sucking like that. I'm just gonna keep going. When I do that, it's never like liquid. It's like a hard booger surrounded by liquid that eventually makes its way into my mouth and makes my life a living hell. Like that's
what the fuck is happening?
That's great. That's great. Stella walked away from the table and has returned with a Mexican wrestling mask.
Look at mommy, babe. Ooh,
okay.
Oh my.
Alrighty.
We'll
okay.
post pictures.
Yeah. Well, this isn't on the show, so.
Could be a cold open.
We didn't even start. Oh yeah, all of this. This is great. Yeah. We never have to talk between the things from now on. We've got hard snot, snorgs, the herb pop, can't put it down, and now the Mexican wrestling. It's perfect. All right, so let's go with fan interaction. Going in.
You weren't sure.
Going in 3, 2, 1.
Time to get your fix. It's a horrible gaming podcast. It's not good. It's not great. Horrible gaming podcast. It's not even what you would call fair. It's really not that good. Horrible Gaming Podcast.
Hello, my name is Zachariah with Old Man Gaming, and for whatever reason you have decided to tune into another Horrible Gaming Podcast, but I am not alone, nor am I ever. With me is...
Neil, a.k.a. Tiny Wizard.
And we are not alone. We are joined by not one, but 2 guests today. We're doing some crazy new stuff. So first and foremost...
Kayla.
And then the lovely...
Melissa.
My wife and Neil's wife. Yeah, we're having a couples show today. And, okay, and...
Stella.
You need to say it louder. Yell it.
Stella.
There you go.
Oh,
they heard
picked
that
up.
one.
The ring went on that one.
So yeah, we if you guys have seen, we probably won't see this when this goes up, but we recorded a bunch of Prelude episodes, and we just decided to do the podcast together. So we're gonna get into it, but before we do, some credits. If you are watching this on YouTube, with the fancy timestamps, you will also be seeing a few fancy pictures behind those timestamps.
Why are you running time and
if they are original, they were designed by Mr. Mark Bell. We thank him for that. And of course, the theme song for this and every show on OMGW is created by my brother, Nick Van Sliders, the man who makes the music, and we thank him for that.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, so that brings us to our first segment, Fanteraction, probably our most favorite segment. That's where we talk to you guys, the fans, us, the co-hosts. We read your comments in all the places, and we use that to decide the horrible arena, which it looks like we're going to tie again unless I put your wife on the spot.
4 in a row.
Yeah, that's rough. It was real rough. And I pitched hard for this one. So did you, the Project Chroma.
Yeah.
Can I be honest? I thought you were actually going to get Philbilly's vote. And I think you might have if he had remembered to vote, personally. Because Philbilly always is like, I would have voted for Niels, but he didn't do multiplayer. And you actually did multiplayer on this one. And I was like, oh, he's going to get Philbilly from me. And he did not. Like, Philbilly just didn't vote. Like, it was rough. So, another tie. Another tie on the voting. Unless Kayla wants to, do you want to break the tie?
I mean, I feel like, as I've said... Because I know,
I don't even know what you're saying. I'm just watching this all unfold.
Just so you guys know, because I don't know what's going to make it into the show and what isn't. Stella Return is at the table with a Mexican wrestling mask, and she made my wife put it on. So do you want to vote and break the stalemate? First of all, no pressure to vote, but if you do vote, you will not be blamed for any bias whatsoever.
My vote was gonna go to Neil this week.
To Chroma?
Because I loved Chroma.
Yes, Chroma's a really good pitch.
I felt like I'd gone so long without vote. I listen every week.
I know.
But as I've said, I'm either driving or doing something, so my mind doesn't go to, I need to go vote right now, and then suddenly it's Sunday and y'all are recording again.
Yeah,
Zach now has the luchador mask on.
I know, and I think that's the biggest problem with the horrible arena is anybody who's listening to it makes me sound weird. Like when I'm in it, I'm in the mask now, guys. This is the hair. I saw the hair. Oh, this is so gross. Oh, we just ate too. Oh my god, this is unbridled chaos from all angles. Oh, I felt that in my mouth.
It was probably mine. It just came off my head. I'm sorry.
So as I was saying,
masks.
No, I don't like masks. I get it. I think the biggest problem with the horrible arena is people have to type up a response, and not necessarily because people are lazy, but they're usually listening in their car or while they're working or something like that. And you just, by the time you get to where you're going, you don't think, oh, I'm going to vote now. So I get it. I totally get it. And I don't fault anybody for not voting, but since you... Did you take a picture of me too? Yes. Please tell me you got me before I started to almost vomit on myself.
I don't know. You should have got a couple of almost vomit pictures.
I still feel it in it. I still feel it in there. No more masks. No more masks.
It would have been a great thumbnail image of him in a luchador mask just going...
just barfing.
You should post that photo on your Discord. Just saying.
We will. We definitely will. We'll post both of them on the Discord. Okay, so into the questions. We got, into the things. It's a capture action again today.
Stella, go watch your movie, please.
Neil owes Phil a pizza, he says, for the weird slip up. I think you're okay. I don't think there was a bet.
I mean, there's still some here if he wants to come get it.
Those factions are true player-driven content, and that was what we were talking about, the fuel rats in Elite Dangerous, and that is a really cool thing in gaming. Like, I love stuff like that. I love stuff when that happens. Then he says, Nintendo is the king of artificial supply and demand. Definitely going to talk about Nintendo today, Kev. Yeah. Once again, I'm glad we did the prediction thing right before probably the worst Nintendo Direct we've ever seen in our lives.
Definitely.
Like, we predicted all this stuff. Not one of our things made it on there. Not one of the things we predicted, I don't think.
No.
Can you think of why? Like, I don't think anything we predicted, even the simple, like, this
honestly,
is a give me.
Some of the stuff that we even thought was going to be guaranteed there wasn't even there. So, like, I don't even... We'll get into it.
It was a nightmare. We're going to talk about it, though. Kev Tutal then continued, Metroid, Star Fox, F-Zero, Kirby, Donkey Kong, all franchises past due for a revival or a new game. Do you agree with that? Quiet one?
I don't know. Whenever they do revivals, they're all fancy in 3D, and I
can't
keep up with it
visually. You do like the Mario Deluxe.
Yeah, but that's not really 3D, is it?
No, it's not 3D, but it's a newer, like I feel like if they did like that with some of the older games,
I'd be
like,
right
it'd be
with
cool. Just add to the winning formula.
And I don't know, wait, what were the games that you said?
Metroid, Star Fox, F-Zero, Kirby, Donkey Kong.
The only one of all of those I've ever played is Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong Country,
Yeah.
if I specifically
Well,
remember.
and I've played, like, the old school Donkey Kong on, like, we had an Atari.
Yeah. You should try Kirby. Kirby's a 2D platformer.
Is that?
Yeah, I think you'd like it. I think it's in the Nintendo online shops too.
Yeah.
Captain then said Cyberpunk best game ever with a lot of laughing emojis.
Yeah.
And then he said, I agree they needed to bite the bullet and take the extra year to finish the game. There's no reason to release a game in that condition. I mean, we debated this to infinitum last time. I think both of our solutions are viable solutions, and if they had done either one of them, it would have been better than what I did.
Yeah, it definitely would have been better than what they did.
Either way would have been better than let's go ahead and lie to everybody for a really long period of time and then just hope it works out. It was crazy. Like, either it's my reduced price, release it in that condition sort of thing, or it's your put it off. Either way, it would have been better than what it was. You've played Cyberpunk.
I have.
What do you think they should have done? Out of curiosity.
I think they should have pushed it because I feel like if they had just been like, look, this isn't, which I don't understand because it was supposed to come out on previous console generation. Right. But if they just come out and been like, look, we need to make this a next gen game. These are everything we have, and like didn't lie and like kept their word on what the game was supposed to be, it would have been worth the wait.
Well, I don't necessarily disagree with you. I think personally they backed themselves into a corner because every time they delayed, they said it's definitely coming out. Whereas if they had just like, I mean, we shouldn't have had a release date in the first place. We shouldn't have had a release date a year ago. Yeah. Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree.
I also, what's really shocking to me is that you're like, they should have waited and just done the next gen version. The versions that are out aren't even the next gen version. No. That's what's crazy to me. I don't think in my years of playing I've ever seen a game come out that only works on a console generation higher than the console generation it was made for. Yeah. Like, that's never happened in gaming. Like, this only works on PlayStation 5. It's made for PlayStation 4.
And what sucks, too, because I know you didn't get far into it, but...
I did not get super far. I had a lot of bugs, and then I started to fight with them about refunds, which has not gone my way at all.
It
and probably won't at this one.
Too, because the further...
That shit's getting real old real fast. Hey, we noticed you opened a ticket. Yeah! Give me my refund! You sons of bitches!
But I have well over 50 hours into it.
Okay, yeah.
And it's getting worse. The further you go, it's almost like they were like, oh shit, no one was supposed to get past this point. What do we do? And it's just weird bugs that you're like, oh, okay.
Oh, no.
I guess that's a thing, so...
That's terrible. That's absolutely terrible. I had heard, we've talked about it, Neil said similar things. And, like, I don't fault anybody for enjoying the game. If you like the game, you should play the game. My problem with them was the way they presented the game leading up to the release and then what the game was after release and how they kind of obfuscated the review process was kind of like... but like that's rough though, like to put 50 hours in and then just be like, what? This is getting worse.
I mean, you could limp through it if you're like me and you're an anxious saver. But you shouldn't have to.
My problem, the bug I hit, I am an anxious saver too, and the bug I hit, it saved with it. It was insane. I had to go back like an hour and a half to rewrite the bug because every time I went back, it was like he was still just teleported outside the thing the minute he come in, and it was, man. And I was on PC. That's the best version of the game. Yeah, when I was on PC. So, all right, spending too much time on Cyberpunk. I don't want to talk about Cyberpunk anymore.
Cyberpunk.
Spider-Punk. Insomniac Spider-Punk.
That would be. I'd be in for that.
Yeah,
I'd be in for that.
Like that.
Yeah. A Spider-Man game that takes place in a steampunk world with just nothing but like blimps and shit. that you could like
We'll finally know what he attaches the web to when he shoots.
Yeah, there you go. All right, well that's everything for fan traction. Unless you want to add something to it, man.
I don't think
you are you have broken the tie. You are now one up on me.
You don't have to use that if you don't.
No, it isn't. I told you, no judgment, no judgment. Today's going to be kind of a shit show because neither one of us prepared. So.
Oh yeah, no, this is not.
I have a loose idea, but I'm kind of a car salesman when it comes to the horrible arena. If I write stuff down, like a used car, like if I write stuff down, it's a nightmare. Like I lose every time I write it down. Like every time I make notes, like nobody votes for me. But when are you doing the? Are you having Coke can issues again?
No.
Okay.
Would you like another?
No, I wasn't like, bring to me.
Can I take my vote back?
Okay, so let's go ahead and go on to our first and possibly only talking point.
All right.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, so that brings us to our first talking point, possibly our only one. We're going to spend a little bit of time on this because, it's the only really big news to come out this week, I believe.
Yeah.
But we had a full, official Nintendo Direct. No mini Directs. They were coming out, guns blazing, bringing all their big ones, Neil.
Were they?
All their big ones, like a game with a weird name like Triangle Strategy, and a golf game where you run around as Yoshi, and yeah. So I think widely is a bad Direct, right?
Yeah.
Like everything we predicted was not there.
And it's like some of the stuff that like you were sure was gonna be there. Not even the stuff that's been speculated, like the collections and stuff like that. Like stuff that we knew was coming out. They didn't mention anything like that. And they just had that information come out about how Nintendo doesn't want to get ahead of themselves with announcements and stuff. They want to keep everything to the year. Mm-hmm. And the very end of the Direct, they show Splatoon 3 releasing 2022, and we're almost the end of the third month of the year.
You have beaten me to the punch. One of the biggest things I wanted to lead.
We're almost to the third month.
Oh, you said the end of the third month.
That's why I was struggling for a little bit.
Playing with a toy and paying attention to the podcast over
I'm listening. He misspoke.
He didn't misspoke. He said almost the third month of the year.
He said almost the end of the third month of the year.
I said a lot of words, but the final
wording. We're gonna have to rewind this later and argue about.
I mean, it literally doesn't matter.
I'm totally listening.
The fact is that on an investor call, they said straight up, we don't want to release games a year, 2 years out. We don't even want to announce them. We want it 3 months, they're out. 4 months, they're out. That's what we want to do, like what they did with Paper Mario. So everybody in the world heard that and was like, hey, this Direct is going to be all announcements for like 3 months from now. This is great. And everybody's been wondering what they had in the bank for this year because after April, they don't have that much. And apparently, they don't have anything in the bank for the rest of the year.
No, what I think, I mean, we're jumping all over the map, but I think at this point, everything that we thought was going to be there or going to be announced at this one is going to be in the summer one, the quote-unquote E3 one. And I have to say, if all that stuff isn't there, if it's just another wash, Nintendo's going to have a real bad year.
Yeah.
Real bad year.
Weren't there some things... You made me watch a Nintendo thing a few months ago.
Yes.
When they came out with the Nintendo 35.
That was the Mario.
Yeah, but didn't they announce some stuff that was supposed to be coming out early this year?
No.
Or no?
Everything they announced there, I believe, is
Mario
already... No, Bravely Default. They did the Bravely Default stuff.
At this one?
Well, at the Mario 35.
Oh, I thought the Mario 35 one was literally just Mario stuff.
I think it was mostly Mario, but I think there was a couple of like...
But
wasn't there a couple of announcements?
They announced that Splatoon thing.
That was at this one. They didn't announce Splatoon 3 at the Mario one, though.
They had Splatoon, like the collaboration with some clothing company.
Yeah, that's what it was. Because I remember asking you what that was.
What Splatoon was?
Yeah.
This show actually we didn't. Melissa is the only person at the table who did not watch the Direct, but we showed her some of the highlights. It actually did end with a teaser trailer for Splatoon 3, which was super weird in itself, honestly. But
Goodbye.
Well, that rolled right past them.
It rolled right past the microphone.
I hope that microphone perfectly picked that up.
It probably picked something up.
No, I mean, I guess we should like pick something specific to talk on. But I want to say overall, Kayla, since you did watch the entire direct, overall, what did you think of it?
It was boring. It was awful.
All right.
There was nothing to look like big to look forward to. So
No.
It quickly lost my interest.
Yes. I do want to talk about a personal affront before we get into this that needs to be said on the show. People need to stop stealing our ideas. They need to stop stealing our ideas. Nintendo, that dodgeball game was mine. I pitched that last year. I want my money. I want my money. I want my royalty check. Seriously.
Money.
Want my money.
Want my money.
Anyway, I'm joking. But that was one of the... Or is it right?
Fuck around, find out.
After that lawsuit, Nintendo.
Right, Nintendo's like, all right, we're fucking around. Yeah, you would. Yeah, that's all I call my bluff. I don't have anything. That was one of the only ones I was interested in, but I didn't think that was a big star or a big player. No. And honestly, the only thing else that I was interested in was the Project Triangle strategy, which I do want to download the demo and see what it's about. Yeah. But it wasn't big. It's not a heavy hitter. The only real heavy hitters they had, I think we should get into. The first one, because Melissa can jump in on it. The Mario Golf game. What do we think about the Mario Golf game? Because that's really the biggest buzz from it, correct?
I would say one of the things, that and the Zelda thing. But we'll get there.
I think the Zelda buzz is negative. I think the only positive buzz this generated was the golf game.
Yeah, I mean, myself, I had mentioned to Kayla when we were watching it, I was, really weird with golf for a while, and I had a Tiger Woods golf game on the Nintendo 64 that I played.
Tiger Woods.
Yeah. Showing my age.
It just keeps coming up. We watched a documentary on him recently, and it just keeps coming up.
What?
Conversations about... Yeah, there's an HBO documentary about him that's amazing.
It's actually really good.
It's an amazing documentary. That dude never had a chance.
Tiger.
It is. It's just called Tiger.
It looks interesting. It looks fun. It's one of those games that if it were to ever to be $15, $20 used somewhere, I'd be like, I might grab it. But I'm not gonna go seek that out.
Nintendo just doesn't do that too.
No, and they don't do that at all in general.
It's never gonna be cheaper than $50.
No.
It also looked like Animal Crossing Golf.
Really? That... Okay, explain.
The characters, it doesn't look remotely realistic.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's Mario. Were you expecting a realistic sports simulation from Mario?
I mean, look, golf games don't do it for me, but
right, fair enough.
In the world of all the 2K whatever,
right?
I don't know if they do a golf 2K21 or whatever, but all these so realistic video games for sports where you can barely tell that it's a video game.
I like how you were prepping for the correction. You were waiting for somebody to actually you. You're like, does 2K do that before I go over the top about it?
Yeah. Is there?
No. I was just just the thought of that being a thing.
But I've seen even golf games on video games where they're incredibly realistic.
Yeah, there are very realistic golf games.
The very off-putting female voice was explaining how you could set your shot up, and it talked about basically the geometry of golf and using the topography of the map and whatever. If you're going to have it be that intuitive, I would think it should look not like Animal Crossing playing golf.
I think she just wants Bowser to be real.
I mean,
God, here we go.
Can we just imagine Unreal Engine ass Mario Golf?
Him 4 foot tall, photorealistic,
Ew. Oof. It's just Danny DeVito.
Oh God. Okay, so here's my thing.
Who played Mario in the movie?
Bob Hoskins. Bob Hoskins. I know that way too fast, too. Can we say that? I also know John Leguizamo played Luigi, and I know Claire Danes played Princess Peach, and Dennis Hopper played King Koopa. God, stop talking.
You may continue.
I do want to agree with you on one point, though. Something that I didn't like about the Mario Golf presentation. So, let's look at the other Mario sports games, right? And the big one on Switch other than this is the Mario Tennis Aces, right? That game is good, it's fun, but it's a very cartoony version of tennis. There's all those ultimate attacks and stuff, which is cool. Yeah. I feel like this actually leaned a little too heavy into this statistical play. It almost looked a little system heavy for golf. Like when they were talking about that, I was like, man, do you need all that in a Mario Golf? Just had Mario run around and hit the thing with the club. I felt like it was a little too. I mean, I feel like that might put some more casual players. What I'm saying is kids, I don't see being able to play this that well.
Well, I had mentioned. Kayla's
before. Nodding, which means I said something that can be understood.
Being in a position where I've had to sell video games to parents for small children, that would not be a game that I'd be like, yeah, your 6-year-old can play that.
Right. But it's Mario, so it's kind of engineered towards a 6-year-old, which is very confusing. So who's your target audience, especially with the RPG mode, which at first I thought, that's cool, that gives you this long tail end and interesting idea to it, but I'm like, what kid is going to be like, I need to boost my stat power so I get better topspin off my, 4 club. I'm like, what? Nobody's doing that, right? 4 club. Nobody's doing that.
I don't play golf, but I don't think a 4 club is.
It's a 4 club. There's a 4 club and a 5 iron,
it's 4 iron. They're all irons.
You know what?
With the numbers.
I'm not doing this with you right now, Neil. I'm not doing this with you right now.
I know there's
golf.
butter.
No, just yell golf every time. Golf! That's kind of what the game should be, though. It's Mario.
Nintendo's target audience is kind of the middle-aged people like us who grew up with Nintendo.
Okay, I think there's definitely an undertow of that. I don't disagree that there's definitely an undertow of that. I mean, these games with these huge... I'm sorry, I just belched on Mike. If you heard that, I apologize.
Take a shot.
I don't disagree with that. There's definitely some nostalgia, but one of the cool things about Switch, one of the things that Nintendo does is your adults can play with your kids. That's the idea behind it. Oh, I played Mario, so now my kid gets to play Mario because there's a new Mario out. I don't feel like any kid is going to be looking at this and being able to pick it up real easily. And I don't feel like any adult who's going to be playing the game by themselves
wants to play a game that looks like Animal Crossing?
Right. Well, I play Animal Crossing.
I love Animal Crossing.
Right. There is some of that, but still, and I'm not saying that I would never want a game like that, but if I was alone and playing a golf game and wanted to play a golf game, much to your point, I would go get a golf game, a nice, beautiful golf game.
2K21.
Right. If I'm alone and I'm gonna play a race game, it's probably not gonna be a kart racer. I'm probably gonna go play Forza or something when I'm by myself. When I want to play with my family and friends, that's when I reach for those kinds of games. But this golf game seemed almost a little bit too into it to be that.
But then you also have that crazy speed golf mode that's literally just hit the ball, run as fast as you can. When you get to your ball, you can hit it again.
Can I just say, that looked fun. That was the one thing that I was like, I'm all for that. Can I check and hit people with the club? I want that in real life. Can we just put that in the golf? Tiger hits it, and then he's just got to run after other people. No, you get away from my club.
I would watch golf for that.
I would watch golf for that. I would watch golf in a heartbeat.
Hockey?
Yeah, full contact golf. Full contact golf. Let's get that.
They did a movie with that. The main character fought Bob Barker.
Yeah, Happy Gilmore, baby. Gilmore, That's a classic. That's an American classic right there. It's American treasure. I don't want a piece. I want the whole thing. Okay, so that's Mario. I think we covered the Mario one. Yeah. That's really the only positive hype from this show, right? Everything else was a letdown.
Yeah.
I personally, the minute it started with a Smash Brothers character, I was like, so we are opening, and this isn't a mini direct. That's what I want to hammer home to people who maybe don't watch the Nintendo shows on the regular. There's 2 types of Nintendo show. There's a Nintendo Direct, which is always an E3 style presentation. It's just trailers, but it's that kind of big kind of thing. And then there's the mini directs, which are independent games coming to the system, smaller games coming to the system, merchandise stuff. that's the difference is we have only had mini directs for the last, year and a half?
Yeah.
And mini directs are usually 20 to 30 minutes tops. Direct is an hour, right?
Yeah.
I'm right on saying all these things,
yeah.
right? So with that being said, this was a mini direct. It was like a double-sized mini direct. There was nothing at this show. And the minute they started off with a Smash character, I was like, this is a mini direct. They're going to do a mini direct twice as big.
Well, to be fair, though, that is one of the things that they said right out of the gate that was going to be focused on was we were going to get a Smash character. And that was one thing that we mentioned.
Okay,
so,
but hear me out, though. We knew a Smash Brother character was going to be at Direct. But if you're the guy coming up with the show, do you open your big show with a Smash Brothers character unless that's the biggest thing you got?
No, I think in regard to this, though...
It's a mid-card thing.
Well, I don't know. See, I would have possibly put it at the beginning in that, you guys know that this is a thing that's coming. I don't want you guys to take all your mental fortitude thinking about the thing that you know is coming. I'm going to do that
Just get it out of the way.
Right out of the gate.
I guess I see that. I always look at it as the mentality as you want a big opener and a big closer. You want to bookend whatever presentation you have. So you want that, you want when it opens, when the project opens, you want to be anybody watching is this is what they're opening with? I can't wait to see the rest of it. And then when you let them down with the middle... At the very end, you give them something big, and they're like, oh my god, I was right, this is amazing. And so, opening with a Smash Brothers character, to me, yeah, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, it's your first impression. It's the first impression rose of video games. It's the I just met you, stick around and see what you want to see. And, that was what they gave me right off the bat. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be
not to mention that Smash character that they announced wasn't anything spectacular.
No.
Me and you, we had no clue who they were.
I didn't know who it was.
So we were all immediately just checked out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was bad. It was
the story leading up to it, I was like, oh, this game looks cool. What's this game going to be? There was this whole story leading up to it. It's just a new Smash Brothers character. There's this whole story. It was a minute.
I mean,
it's a minute of story. And I was like, oh, a floating city? It's anime, it's JRPG. I'm not usually into this, but this looks interesting. And it's Smash Brothers character. I was like, what? That's what we got?
I mean, that whole story leading up to that point was the game
right.
that exists.
Which I never followed. You got me there. But at the same time, I didn't know that was a game. So I was just okay, I'm in for this.
Yeah.
Apparently I should just play Xenoblade Chronicles is what I should do. Okay. So yeah, it opened with that. And then, what else should we talk about? What's the next thing we should talk about? My train hit the mountain there.
Oh, the fact that these guys make billions of dollars and can't buy a shirt.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm down with that.
I just think that needs to be said. And I think they think it's a cute thing in the industry. You're 60.
What shirt are we talking about?
They wear ratty t-shirts under blazers.
You're talking about gamer conference casual?
Can we talk about that? What? Who designs the clothing for these conferences and goes, we gotta look like CEOs, but
we gotta be man of the people. Yeah.
No,
they all gotta look like hipsters.
You look like a college frat guy.
A billionaire man who's old enough to look very old, and he probably looks a hell of a lot older than he actually is. Not saying anything not PC. And you're wearing a freaking t-shirt under a blazer.
Yeah.
Dress your age. Don't be the woman in the bar who's 60 and trying to reclaim her 30s. Don't be the male version of that.
To
buy a shirt.
To spin off of that too. Just because we're on this weird topic now, it's something I've always thought of. Stop announcing stuff with your shirts.
Yes!
They all have a t-shirt of oh, did you catch my shirt? And then they're opening it to see it's the thing. It's
you know what I don't like that's done too is now anytime one of them wears just a shirt, there's all this speculation on Reddit did you see it? He was wearing a Metroid shirt. That means we have to be getting a Metroid game. And it's no, he's just wearing a shirt, bro. He just put that on in the morning because somebody in the back told him to. Yeah, I'm with you guys. There's a Polygon. They used to do those Unraveled specials, and they're really funny. I urge anybody to go check them out. But this guy, he was like, how to make like the best E3 conference, and one of the steps was like, dress right.
I think
gamer casual, and he's just had like, it's got to be a T-shirt of a game and a blazer, like, and then say things like.
So gamer casual. Who's wearing? I don't.
Business gamer casual is what he called it. Nobody's wearing it. I know. I'm with you guys. I'm saying
I don't
that, like,
sit in my living room with a blazer on and a gaming T-shirt. Just saying.
I love all the pictures of Phil Spencer playing games in that too. Like, it's like he has to. Like, if somebody's about to shoot, he's like, hold on, blazer guy, and somebody just like wraps him in a blazer real quick. Like,
wraps him in a blazer.
The famous shot of him at the Quad A studio, that initiative where everybody's trying to figure out what he's playing. He tweeted out a picture of himself playing a game at the initiative, and everybody's like, it's Perfect Dark. It's got to be Perfect Dark, which it very well could be now that we've got a Perfect Dark trailer out. But there was all this speculation on what he was playing. But in that picture, he's playing it like happily, and he's in a blazer and like a State of Decay 2 T-shirt, and you're like, there's no way you were in that. Like, somebody was like, we need to get a picture of you playing the video game. He's like, bring me a blazer.
So here's the real question. Did he, like, not have the blazer and was wearing the T-shirt? Or did he actually have the formal attire on?
Right.
Like, I need to be more relatable and change the undershirt.
Where's my State of Decay 2 T-shirt? Quickly.
Yeah.
Well, and then they're usually wearing, like, jeans and chucks.
Yeah.
And a T-shirt. Totally acceptable clothing.
Except the women are always weirdly wearing heels.
Yeah.
Yes, because we all walk around in fuck me pumps. Like,
You don't.
You can swear on the podcast. You swear regularly. I think you're 100% right, and I also don't like the lie of it personally. Like, I feel like it's like, I'm just like you guys. I was like, you've got 7 cars. There's no way you like me.
Yeah.
There's nothing about you that is like me. You have an Xbox One X in your house right now. I've never even seen one. No, there's no way.
I just saw my first one out in the wild the other
Series
day.
X. Sorry, I said 1X.
Yeah, I just saw my first one the other day out in the wild, and even still, it was just a dummy unit.
Do you remember the Phil Spencer thing where they were like, it was there the whole time, and he was using it as a fucking
bookend?
A bookend.
Yeah,
it's like, you use that as a bookend, and you're like me? No, thank you, sir.
yeah,
I do not believe that.
It's kind of patronizing.
It is a little bit.
Yeah.
It is a little bit.
And if you're billionaire and you want to wear chucks and blue jeans and a T-shirt, that's cool. Don't patronize me with a blazer.
I like how this devolved into a fashion segment.
Hey, that's
just great. I like it because we've never gotten into the fashion of what these guys wear. I'm like, this is a good topic. I wish we had done this before.
Put on a hoodie or put on a dress shirt. Commit one way or the other.
Don't put on a hood. That would just make, like, now you're not even trying. I don't want
at least committing.
I don't want him walking out in a hoodie like, I'm gonna show you some games. Like, goddamn.
I would.
You would?
Prove to me that you were up at 3 a.m. gaming like the rest of us and got maybe 2 hours of sleep before
The only way he's doing that is if he's got bloodshot eyes. Yeah, he better not have deodorant on, hasn't washed his hair, smells like vape smoke. Like, he needs to, like, commit. Like, there's no way he's coming out in, like, a Abercrombie and Finch hoodie, and I'm like, he's been a gamer. Not happening.
But at the same time, though, if somebody went out on stage with a hoodie and, like, dressed all ratty and, like, I'm here to announce Half-Life 3,
I'd be
like...
I think they should dress super weird is what they should dress because they're weirdos. Like that one time the Ubisoft guy who was announcing the Division came out in a full trench coat. Like he was in the Matrix. Like it was like the year before Division 2 came out. And I was really impressed with the show. We were friends at that. We were definitely doing it. But
feel
he
like
came out.
Ubisoft conferences though are a whole other level.
They're something
they're
else.
An experience.
Yeah, I love an Ubisoft conference and the Just Dance. I always get excited when they're talking about Just Dance. It's like where's the panda? Where is he coming from? Is he going to come down from the ceiling? Is he going to come out of the crowd just with his rave glasses on, just swinging it around? Like, I love the Just Dance. It's always like just a bunch of people dancing, and then they're like, Just Dance, and then they just leave the stage without talking. That's one of my favorite things.
They always also pan out, so you have to awkwardly watch them.
And they're all just on stage that's too small. There's always 50 of them in like a 12 by 12 area just doing kickflips and stuff. And you're like, somebody's going to take somebody out. What's happening? Nobody ever talks about the game. They just like, this is, and then there's like a date, and then they all leave, and somebody in a Matrix outfit comes out. What?
What is there to say about Just Dance, though?
I know.
New songs.
That's what's awesome. That's what's awesome. I would way better like that than business casual gamer guy coming out and being like, I got some new great products for you, my dude. Right?
My fellow consumers.
My fellow consumers. I definitely don't get all of this shit for free. I pay for it. Okay, so.
Back to
we need to get on track. This is really good content, but we do need to get back on track. I think. Okay, so what were we excited for other than Super Mario? Was there anything that did it for you, Neil?
There's something that didn't do it for me.
Well, that's the opposite of what I asked you, but go ahead.
Well, I don't have anything to respond with what you did.
Okay, that's fair. There was a couple of games that I was lukewarm interested in.
The only one
though, it wasn't the boom.
The point of a direct to get you lukewarm
right
into a game.
Right.
The only thing that I was kind of like interested-ish is that Project Triple Threat, whatever. I can't.
Project Triangle Strategy.
Yeah,
I don't know why I have that memorized already, but I do.
And that's not even the final title of it. It's an interesting idea.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? That's the. I can't wait to play Project Triangle Geometry Strategy.
I don't know. That's somebody's horrible arena pitch.
What?
No, I'm saying like it's just the name of it sounds like a horrible arena pitch.
It's like Project. Yeah. I am excited for that. I do want to play the demo. I didn't get to play the demo yet, which I probably should have before the podcast, but I've been to a Warframe. But I think that one, the dodgeball game, was kind of interesting to me. I think that could be a fun throwaway game. Splatoon doesn't do it for me, never has.
The dodgeball game, the what they showed for it was so weird.
Looks interesting to me. Yeah.
Well, I'm not even talking about the game, just like the advertising
the
for
advertisement.
it.
Okay.
The advertising for it was just so. I mean, it's Nintendo's bag to do weird things, but it didn't.
I should have showed Melissa that trailer.
It didn't make any sort of sense. You have like a cartoon orc talking about like swinging a hammer,
right,
in like a chair, talking
then
to the
military
camera. And then there's like a military shooter guy talking about taking people out, and then there's like
that's
a princess who's
and
talking
then they're all
about
playing the dodgeball game, and you're like, what?
Yeah, like they created characters for a trailer to show off other.
Yeah.
And those characters, to be clear, aren't going to be in the game.
So just so that Melissa can weigh in on this, I should have showed you this trailer just because of how weird the trailer was. But basically what it is it opens on the three characters he just described, like a fairy princess type character, an orc, and then like a military shooter Counter-Strike guy. And they're all talking about like just what it's like to be them. And you're like, where is this going? And like at first I was like, is this 3 games or 1? And then basically what happens is you realize that they all blow off steam by playing this completely different other game, which is this dodgeball game that they're all playing together somehow. And then they show the dodgeball game off as this multiplayer experience where like it's teams of 3 versus each other and you throw balls at each other.
You know, if it would have been like Smash Brothers but dodgeball. Like, if the orc was, like, from World of Warcraft, and the Counter-Strike guy was, like, from Counter-Strike, and, like, the princess was, like, some princess.
Right.
And it's, like...
That would have made more sense.
And they all got put into this game of dodgeball where they team up for
that would have made more sense.
I would have been interested
instead of completely making up new characters nobody's ever heard of to do it. Like, if it had been Star Fox, Princess Peach, and Bowser sitting there, you'd have been like, okay, I'm down for this. I know Melissa would have. So yeah, I thought that game was interesting, but again, it's not like a hit. It's not a big thing. So again,
why do they have to put a story to it?
Well, and that's the thing. There's no story to the game itself. This isn't you're not going to see cutscenes of this when you get the game. Or I hope not. That would be... If there is, then it changes everything.
Story mode dodgeball.
Like, if story mode is you pick the Counter-Strike guy to pick another character. Like, if it's like, who's playing the game that's playing the game?
Oh, my
like,
gosh.
Oh, man, that's something else.
Too deep in the simulation now.
Yeah.
Unless it's like an art commentary.
With 3 levels in. How are we going to wake up? Who's playing me? These aren't the cutscenes that you're going to see. These characters are never going to be seen again. So it's just a weird way to present the game. I felt like it was a way to get a 1-minute gameplay trailer to 5 minutes.
Yeah,
is what it felt like to me. Like, and that's weird because it's an internet thing.
Yes.
Yeah, but what's weird about it is you don't need to do that on the internet. It's a YouTube. Like, it's 50 minutes. Nothing's 50 minutes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't need to pad out time on YouTube. You just put whatever you want up there. So, like, I don't even understand why they would do that.
Well, yeah, but if they were trying to make it not a mini whatever, they
right.
said...
That's true, but 4 minutes less than 50 is...
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's still a direct.
But also the art style for that trailer looked like the art style for Fortnite.
Yeah.
So I also tapped out right away because I was like, oh, it's another Fortnite thing.
Yeah.
I don't care. And then by the time I realized it wasn't a Fortnite thing, I was already like, wait, what does any of this have to do with anything?
Right. A couple other notable mentions. The Star Wars Zynga game finally got a title and announcement. That's the Zynga game, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the competitive whatever.
The bounty hunter thing.
It just said hunters, and it doesn't look like bounty hunters. It looks like it's going to be an arena-based combat thing.
I hope not.
I think that's exactly what it's going to be.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised because
they've said it's a competitive something. I know it's a competitive multiplayer experience, but it's Zynga. What? This is... You remember we talked about, like, Zynga, like, getting the rights to do a Star Wars game?
Right.
That's this. This is the Zynga Star Wars game. That's it. And also, is it only going to be on Switch, then? Like, well, if it's at this direct, that's kind of weird.
That's the thing. It's always so nebulous with that sort of stuff as to whether or not it's exclusive. Yeah, there's always, like, fine print or, like, they release the trailer and then 2 weeks later. By the way, that thing that we showed you is also coming to this, and this platform.
They also didn't have a release date with it, and it's not going to come before 2023 because of the stupid exclusivity deal with EA. So, like, why are we even showing this? There's no gameplay there. It's just like a weird hallway shot, and then Star Wars Hunters. Like, it's more shitty hype, I guess.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the big one, the big trash fire at the end.
Wait, are we talking about the Splatoon thing, or are we talking about the Zelda thing?
I think the Splatoon announcement was solid as an announcement itself. I don't think it was the way to end the show.
If you know what, I think it would have garnered a bit more of a positive response had the information about Nintendo, about Nintendo wanting to wait longer before official announcements being a thing. Like, literally, it was a week ago that they had said we don't want to get too far ahead with you know, our announcements and anything like that. And then, for our Direct, we're going to announce something that's going to come out next year when we still basically have an entire another year to go.
Yep.
Like, that's just super bad look.
It's a super, super bad look. I agree with that. I think that's a bad way to end the show as well. I don't think Splatoon 3 is big enough to actually... I don't think it's big enough to bookend Direct. I'm sorry. I just don't think Splatoon 3 is big enough to bookend a Direct. Especially not when it's 2 years off, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think that's the way you want to end the show. Especially when the trailer itself is very strange, in my opinion. Like, I know it's a post-apocalyptic world and everything, and that is the lore of the game, but to show so much of that and not that much of the gameplay at the end was very strange to me. Like, it showed the character creation, and then it showed her walking around in a field and riding a bus for, like, 40 seconds, then 20 seconds of gameplay. Like, that was just a weird way to do that to me.
Yeah.
I think that trailer would have been fine if it was in the middle of a Direct. I don't think it was the way to wrap it. Let's talk about the trash fire of the Zelda.
Okay.
So, towards the end of the show, the second to last thing they announced is they parade out the guy who produces Zelda, the guy in charge of Breath of the Wild 2, which we all thought we were going to see stuff from.
In a t-shirt and blazer.
In a t-shirt and blazer.
Zelda t-shirt.
I think Melissa's been waiting to say it. She's just like, all right, I'm out. I got it. I got it in. I think that he comes out and then he goes, hey, I know by seeing me you think that I'm going to talk about Breath of the Wild. I'm paraphrasing. But I'm not. I don't have anything for Breath of the Wild, and I'm sorry about that. But here's another Zelda game. Like, that in itself is insane to me. Like, that's the height of lunacy. Like, who was in a boardroom like, you know what we should do? We should have this guy working on this game come out to tell them that he doesn't have anything to tell them. And then we should announce the critically worst Zelda game being remastered for Switch.
Yeah, what I think is very interesting...
Well, not the worst Zelda, worst modern critically.
Yeah. I mean, what I think is very interesting, too, about, like, Skyward Sword, they were, like, the whole time, they were like, oh, we revamped the controls, it all works so much better this time. It wasn't the controls that made it so bad. Right. I mean, they didn't help in some instances, but it was the incessant padding and backtracking to that game as a whole. And they were like, oh, well, it laid the groundwork for Breath of the Wild. Yeah. See, there's the stamina system, which, I mean, yeah, sure.
Okay, yeah.
Great. But, like, that's the thing. Like, that's...
No one likes this game. That's my... I'm with you. Like, no one likes this game.
I played through the whole thing, and at the very end, like, I was very much just like, okay, like, I did it, I played it. Like, I didn't loathe it.
Right.
I'm not going to spend $60 on it when it comes out. That's for sure. Had it been, like, just remastered and bundled in with a pack with, like, the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess ports that they already did for the Wii U, just do a whole bunch thing. Because, again, like, it's Zelda's 35th anniversary.
Right.
So they had to do something, and like, this is how we're gonna celebrate.
Yeah, where's the rest of the stuff? Mario had all these extra special games and all these releases, and for Zelda we get the crappiest Zelda game ever remade. And I got like a little tinfoil hat thing too. I feel like Nintendo is remastering games not based on whether people want them, but whether they can make it work. Like, I almost feel like at this point they're like, you know that game that was really hard to do, like, it had tons of motion controls? I want to figure out a way to make that work in this game. And like, they're doing it just, like, as a challenge. Like, they're all just taking, like, hold my beer, I'm going to remake Skyward Sword. You know? So, like, I don't know. How did you feel about the Zelda?
I want the Joy-Cons, but I'll never get the Joy-Cons.
The Joy-Cons never get the Joy-Cons, because they're already being scalped.
Yeah, that is a travesty. Yep. Scalpers suck.
I think if they wanted to announce the fact that we have no word on the next Breath of the Wild, they should have just showed the gameplay, but then also been like, hey, by the way, we don't have anything. Because instead you brought this guy out so everyone's hyped.
Right.
Just to then be let down and yet again check out for the entire segment.
Right. Can you imagine being the dude who's making that too? Like the guy's coming to him.
You.
Yeah. The guy coming to him like, hey, you got something for Breath of the Wild for the direct? And he's like, no, we're not ready for it yet. Okay, well, you need to get on and tell the entire world that you don't have anything for direct. Like, that's crazy to me. It's insane. Just like, how about we just don't say anything and just show the Skyward Sword? Also, nobody who was waiting for Breath of the Wild news is waiting for Skyward Sword to come out and remastered. Like, I can think of 3 other Zelda games off the top of my head that people would rather have than Skyward Sword, who are Breath of the Wild. You know what I mean, in that same vein. So I don't know. It was very, very, very strange. You had just the fashion to add to it. That's fair.
What does remastered entail? Maybe they fixed it? I don't know.
Well, they've
done some stuff to it.
That the controls are very much more improved, and they only showed us that by literally just showing the game. I don't know what that's supposed to...
They also pointed out that you can now do complete button controls. One thing, Skyward Sword was on the Wii. There's very heavy motion control to it, so all the sword fighting was swipes with your remote. So they've found a way to make that all button prompts now, so that you don't actually even need to use the motion controls. You still can because Switch has them, but you don't even need to use them anymore.
Well, you kind of have to if you're playing on the Switch Lite.
Yep. because the Switch Lite is just it doesn't have any motion.
I mean, you can pair you can pair your Joy-Cons to the Switch Lite, but even still, you'd have to find a way to prop it up to even be able to play. It kind of
defeats the purpose of having the light at that point. Yeah. Like it really does. Bit my tongue.
This is also kind of random, but just in general, this push for like motion controls. Maybe it's just because like I suffer from like a lot of arm pain, but like anytime they like are like, you could do this with your Joy-Cons, I'm like, I don't want to.
I don't want to. Just give me the buttons, man. Yeah. I'm with you. And motion controls never quite work right. They're never crisp. No. They're never as good as pressing a button or moving an analog is.
So and like, not all forget to all the countless videos of people throwing their Wii remotes into TVs.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But they tell you to wear the strappy straps. If you're not wearing the strappy straps, it's your fault, you dumbo.
All right, I think we've covered the Direct. You want to move on to odds and ends?
Sure.
Since we literally spent like 50 minutes on that.
Yeah.
It was a good topic, though.
Yeah.
We did good. It's good content. People like us, I think.
I hope. At this point.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, so that brings us to Odds and Ends. This is our segment where we like to collect news stories that don't necessarily garner a full talking point, but that we want to share and just riff on. So Neil has 5. He's definitely going to go first because I only have 2.
Yeah, all right. Well, a little bit of an update from what we talked about last week with Stadia. It's actually now come out that Phil Harrison of Stadia has said that the Microsoft acquisition of Bethesda is part of the reason why they shut down Stadia's first-party development studio.
I heard about this.
I'm not quite sure how it's related.
How does that possibly relate? Right. How does that possibly relate? That's so dumb. That's just like, I didn't take my ball and go home. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's what it is, yeah. It's like, I'm going to quit. If I quit, I can't be beat.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It's literally one of those kids that like, I'm losing, so I don't want to play anymore. I'm just going to shut this off.
That's exactly right. It's exactly right. Well, he's buying all the other stuff, so that's cheating. I'm just going to go. I can't tell you how much. There's 2 subjects on this podcast that I don't want to talk about anymore. And we have to keep talking about them. And every time the word Stadia or CDPR is mentioned, I want to put my head in the toilet. I swear to God. Okay, well, you got 5, man. I only got 2, so go ahead and hit us with another one.
So, in 2019, the rapper Soulja Boy, quote-unquote, launched an at-home and
I remember
console.
this! This is so awesome.
So they were basically just cheap Chinese emulation machines that were met with cease and desist orders from everyone and their mother.
Yeah.
Well, kiddos. He has announced that he's got a new console.
Oh no!
In the works called the Soulja console. That, according to him, is quote built from scratch with quote new designs and new games.
Oh, please be like pirated versions.
He put stickers on something.
Right.
Please be pirated versions of like Mario, but it's like a rabbit instead of Mario.
Right.
You know? Like stuff like Russian pirates of it. Like, oh God, I want that so bad. I love every time he comes out with that. That's great. I want every 2 years us to get a Soulja Boy console that doesn't exist. That's great.
I want to get that and the KFC console.
Oh man, I want the KFC console. Keep my chicken warm while I play games.
Is that a thing?
It actually works. It plays games.
It started as a joke. I can't remember when they showed it off.
It looks dumb
but
too. Where would you even put that thing?
Like
KFC. They made a console and it keeps chicken warm while you play it, but it's like PC games, right? Like you can play Steam, I think.
PC games. Yeah, it was backed by somebody. I forget who it was. It was like an actual like company.
KFC and Arby's, this is what they do. They like speak to like counterculture. Like that's how they get it. KFC has the dating app where you can date Colonel Sanders. It's like a game, but it's what is it called? I want to because it's a funny name.
All the KFC's closing?
No, there's one in Streetsboro.
Yeah, but that's like the only one that I know.
Not the only one.
Where's another?
I know there's
one by our house.
There's stuff down there.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah.
We have 2 in a 45-minute radius.
I mean, there's not a ton of them, but...
I mean, KFC also isn't really food you can eat on the go, so...
No, I agree.
I think it's just famous
Famous
bowls.
bowls.
Famous bowls are where it's
all
at.
about them famous bowls.
And that's disgusting. I don't like
She's
fake
not a
mashed
mixer.
potatoes. But anyway...
A friendship has been ruined here.
Potatoes. But no, like, they're spending money on...
you, like, dagger eyes.
Sorry.
I love fake mashed potatoes.
I'm alright with that. I have no problems with fake mashed potatoes. Give me that fake mashed potatoes, fake corn, fake gravy.
And
fake corn.
What is it called? Dating apps?
Yeah.
And they're closing stores?
It's not even a dating app. It's like a game.
It's a dating sim game
where you can date the Colonel Sanders, but they're all anime characters. It's ridiculous. It's called something. It has some funny name. Like
look this up.
Yeah, no, it's really weird. But like that's the thing. Like you were saying, like KFC and Arby's just like do these weird things.
Yeah, Arby's is huge about it. They do all these weird like
I love you, Colonel Sanders.
Oh, I thought it had a funny name.
That's
the
not
system
funny
is something.
Developer.
Yeah, but I thought it was like a pun. I wanted.
KFC also had that movie.
Oh, yeah, the 15-minute long made-for-TV movie.
They also have a role-playing game, a fully realized D&D style role-playing game that you can play. I'm not even kidding.
Oh man,
I'm not even kidding. It's real. People have played it on the internet. I've seen it.
God.
Like they released a tabletop RPG. It's like KFC World, and everything's KFC
I'm
themed.
in. I'm down.
Yeah.
We're playing it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But Arby's does the same thing where they're very directed at. Okay. Well, do you want me to do one, or you want to do another one?
Go ahead and do one.
All right. This one just made me giggle so much. So there is a developer out there that just got banned from Steam. Cannot put their games on Steam anymore. Cannot have them on Steam because they changed the name of their company to Very Positive. So it comes up when you're on Steam, if you don't frequent it, when you're looking at the review scores, the review scores will be like so many reviews, and then it goes on a rating: poor, neutral, positive, very positive for such and such developer, and it highlights them the same. So they named their company Very Positive because their game sucked. It got poor reviews. But it says, so if you're just looking in that real quick, you see Very Positive and then you buy. So they literally changed their company name to Very Positive so that people would think they had a very positive review score on the video games that they put out. So when you're looking at the game that they revealed, you look up there in the corner and you're like, oh, Very Positive. So people like this game. When in actuality, a review is terrible. So Steam was like
your horrible gaming podcast?
No, we're really bad.
I was about to say. See, in this analogy, we would be good though, like as a whole.
Yeah. In this analogy, we'd be the best podcast ever, but we'd be, But
it's so popular, we have to turn people off.
But yeah, I thought that was really funny, and the producers, I think the developers fired back and were like, hey, we're trying to make this right. We just liked the name and we wanted to switch to it. It had Very Positive. So that was one of my favorite news stories.
We are Very Positive as
if
BS.
you release crappy content, own up to the fact that your content's crappy, or try to fix it.
Yeah. I like the
better
con on that
before?
one.
We try.
So your next one.
All right, so so the Apple and Epic fight continues.
Oh, I think I know where you're going with this one.
Apple has subpoenaed Valve's sales numbers because they say that Valve is Epic's closest competitor. However, Valve is trying to resist purely because they feel that the requests are too narrow and that the software being sold differs too much from the original point of the lawsuit regarding Fortnite. Plus, they really don't want to get dragged into this lawsuit.
Don't bring them into it. Like it's like when you're like having an argument with a friend, and then you look at them and be like, "This guy also said your girlfriend's a bitch," you know? And it's like, "Whoa, dude, man! I just came over for a soda." Like, why are you trying to bring Valve into this, man? Resolve your shit. I feel bad for Valve, and I hate to say that because they run Steam and they won't give me my money back for CDPR. But but yeah, that sucks. How many you got left? You got 2 more?
I can kind of mush them into one.
Well, I've got 1, so however you want to do it.
Go ahead, do your 1.
My 1 is this Valheim, man. Valheim. Holy crap.
What is this? I've heard of it.
It's a survival game, right? So it's like your like grounded kind of style survival game, but it's Vikings, and you're a Viking character who gets put into Viking purgatory, basically, and you have to survive there to get into, like, Asgard or whatever. And so, like, that's what it is. It procedurally generates the map. When you go, you can generate the map over and over again, and then you try and build up. And man, it just, like, some streamers picked it up, and now it's huge. It's the highest selling game on Steam right now. It's only $20. It's in early access, obviously, but yeah, people love it. People love it. IGN gave it a 9 out of 10 for its early access. The reason I wanted to bring it up is I love the fact that, and while this game is not, like, it's pretty, and it's a fully realized world, the graphics are a little bit less on some areas, but it was made by 5 people. And I love that we are in a day and age where those games that are independent are starting to rival AAA games. Like, this game could be a AAA game, and it's making the money of that, and it actually looks like it. Like, obviously it's got its bugs and whatnot, but it's a fully realized, like, 3D world by 5 people, and I love that. I love any time something like you talk about other indie hits, you're usually talking about, like, your Celestes, your Super Meat Boys, like those ones that are really easy to make and they're kind of platformers. I love it when it's those big, like, it's like, holy crap, this could be a AAA game, and you find out it's like 5 people made this game and they're being a success with it. And I really want AAA game companies to get knocked down a peg, and I think that this is a good way to knock them down a peg.
It's definitely a step in the right direction. Mm-hmm. I mean, anytime things like this happen, it bolsters those odds just a little bit more. But I think ultimately it's all...
Okay.
Ultimately, it's all driven by, like, the consumers as to how it plays out.
This is true, and I like when the consumers go there. You know what I mean? Like I mean, a lot of times when you talk about the indie success, it's because it's an indie game that does something very specific in a smaller experience. Yeah. You know, like you're Among Us, you're, like I said, Celeste, and those kind of things. You're not looking at these games that are like these huge open world experiences. Those are almost always AAA games. You're almost never seeing that from, like, independent developers.
Right.
That's why this one is kind of different for me in a way, because it's like, wow, this is like maybe a step. This is like AA and a half if you look at it. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's really cool to me because you just don't see that from, like, small-time independent companies. Usually small-time independent companies find ways to make creative games on smaller scales. Right. You know? So, I don't know. I felt like it was needed to be mentioned that it's the highest-selling game on Steam right now.
Alright, so my next 2, they are all kind of somewhat related, so I'm just gonna start with the first one.
Okay.
This first part of it. So, NVIDIA has announced that their upcoming RTX 3060 video cards are going to have limiters in place to cut the rate that they produce digital currency. What's even better is it is restricted between the driver and the BIOS. So it eliminates, quote-unquote eliminates, the ability for that all to be bypassed. However, they've also said that this is only going to be in effect for the 3060 card currently, with the implementation being rolled out in further releases of their cards. They have also mentioned that they may make cards specifically for mining.
Okay.
So, like, this, it might help, possibly, people, you know, getting the graphics cards strictly for mining. But at the same time, I read an article earlier that these cards can still, one card can produce $7 worth of coin a day. And as Bitcoin and everything continues to go up, that is going to go up even more. So if it's all that they can get, who cares if it's limited or not? They're still going to go after it.
Right.
But it's coming out in a couple days here, February 25th. So get your fingers ready on your clickers for the second and a half that you're going to have to get a hold of it. But
I love the super tech odds and ends, everybody else at the table picked up their phones. Like, they were like,
it's cool.
The minute you were like, NVIDIA, GeForce, everybody was like,
it's fine.
I've got things to look up.
Somewhat related, also, John Carmack of id Software, or at least the founder of id Software, I don't know if he's still there, has suggested that console and video card manufacturers should just hold first-party auctions for all their products. As people are willing to pay high prices for a console or card anyways, it would eliminate scalpers. Nope. Not at all, because all that means is the person is going to win the auction.
I mean, maybe if you're doing the auction in person with, like, an auctioneer, like some sort of weird cattle thing, like, then you could get around those bots, I guess, because, like, if you did that, but, like, nobody does that, they're going to put it on a computer, and then...
Well, yeah, that's the thing, is, like, no matter what, all it's doing is just it would just drive the prices up more and more anyways. Yeah. So, instead of a scalper charging $1,200 for something that normally costs $600, they're going to charge you $2,500 for something that costs them $1,200.
And the problem with the scalpers is not the fact that it's because the scalpers have technology that allow them to put a program in place that just buys these things. Yeah. Like, that's why the problem is there. It has nothing to do with, like, the first party or the second party or anything. It's the scalper has a system in place that is without a counter where they can just press a button and buy 4,700 of them the minute it goes up the next day.
It's gotten to the point too, like myself, I've mentioned before that I'm in the middle of building my PC. Right. I'm to the point now where literally all I need is the graphics card and the processor. Right. The two impossible things to find right now. Right. And I actually signed up for something that I just found out about called Hotstock. For $5 a month, I subscribe to a notification bot. So, for $5 a month, I basically am watching whatever it is that I tell it to watch. So, all these different card SKUs from various manufacturers and everything. And whenever they're notified, whenever they find stock at Amazon or Newegg, anything like that, I get a notification sent to me say, hey, these are restocked. So I at least have a chance to go take a look. But even still, they have a feature in there to where you can look through and see when was the last time that these things were restocked and how long they were in stock for. There was a lot of cards that were in stock for literally seconds.
That's obnoxious, yeah.
So, I mean, I'm going to give it a try for a month, maybe two, but even still at that point, if I started doing this 5 days ago, I still haven't got a single notification.
Right.
So now, like, the supply is getting tighter and tighter and tighter to the point that there's only going to be drops of these things once every 2-3 weeks. So you barely even get a chance to get
I am so happy I bought my PC when I did. Like, it was like 3 months before this shit started. Like, I am so happy that I was like, I'm just gonna do it now. Like, cause I was gonna wait, and now I didn't, and I'm like, oh, my God,
I did
such a nightmare right now.
I did the math on it, and just the stuff that I have bought myself. I have $1,200 worth of stuff just sitting upstairs that I had for months that I can't do anything with.
So because you got no graphics cards.
I did tell him for a very long time to just do it. So.
Well, I mean, I was also
an I told you so situation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it wasn't.
Definitely got an I told you so face.
But at the same time, like, I don't want to, like, I didn't want to just like. Well, I mean, if I empty our savings, I can do it right now. Like, I don't want to do that, you know. I'm trying to, like, do it when I got the money for it.
I'm with you, but in Kayla's defense, I was going to wait, and I was talking to Melissa about it, and Melissa was like, you should just do it now, just do it now. And I listened to my wife.
Also, millennials having real savings accounts.
I'd like to point out, we had the money at that given point in time. Like, just do it.
She did.
We'll find
because we just bought the house, and I was like, I just shouldn't buy a PC when we just bought the house. She was like, just do it. Yeah. Like, okay, all right. Well, you said just do it, and I like things, so I'm going to do it.
I'm just really pushing for it because I want that laptop, because my laptop
Oh my god.
Barely runs Origins, and I can't even open Steam anymore.
You can't even start the computer. It takes
Sims.
25 minutes, half hour for your
Sims,
computer
right?
to even boot.
Oh no, The Sims. What do you do without The Sims?
She still
die.
She'll still do it. It'll be like an hour and a half process, literally, but her computer will eventually boot it up.
For everybody who didn't listen to the last Kayla episode, Kayla likes The Sims a lot. It's her game, okay? All right, so that's it for odds and ends? You want to do Horrible Arena?
Sure.
Okay, all right.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, so that brings us to the end of the show, the main event, the moment you've all been waiting for, the Horrible Arena. What is the Horrible Arena if you have never watched or listened? Well, first, please watch or listen more. We like you guys. We want you guys to watch or listen more. Please, please. But if you haven't, it is where the two co-hosts are going to pitch you guys a game. We're going to pitch that game based on pre-existing criteria that we take turns picking or that a guest picks should we have it. Then you guys are going to go to the places and you're going to cast your vote for the thing that you would spend your hard-earned money on, given you have to pick between the two. So, without Stella yelling at everybody... the Quantum Coin has been tossed. I have won the Quantum Coin, so I get to pitch first.
It is yours now. You own the coin.
So I did screw one thing up that I just realized now, even though I won the coin. And I'm going to keep talking because I'm stalling to figure out exactly what I need to look up real quick.
Go lay down. You were out, you had a treat.
But I forgot to look up what kind of developer... Never mind, got it. Okay, so... my project is going to be Project Bank Robbery, and it is going to be done by Starbreeze, the guys who did Payday and Payday 2. Basically, here's something I don't love about shooters, is that shooters are very rarely realistic in essence of how the guns work, and they're fun. They're always fun. The guns are usually in the ballpark of right, but people can always take like 97 bullets, or you can just like pick somebody up off the ground and there's somehow all the bullets come out of them and they're fine, you know, all those gamer mechanics, which is cool. I'm not saying that's bad for the games that they're in, but I want a game that does not have that. I want a game that has some realistic gunplay to it. We pitched Western. Western was the pre-existing criteria last time, so what I want to pitch is a game where we basically take the role, it will be a multiplayer game, you take the role of a bank robber in the old Wild West, okay? So an old school stick 'em up. So you've got to plan the heist from start to finish. There would be train robberies and bank robberies, all those fun stuff. And basically you have to then get out of the town without dying. If you get shot, you probably die. All of the physics and gunplay of it would be very realistic, very straightforward to the actual guns themselves, how they worked, when they jammed, how they loaded, how long they took. Then you basically have to go in and control the crowd. It's not going to be like Payday, though, because Payday I've played, and one thing I don't like about Payday is it's exactly like that. You are just like murder festivals. Like, the idea of this is to bank rob, like get out of the bank robbery with as little casualties as possible. But you know there's going to be a hiccup. Something goes wrong. You got to gunfight your way out. And that's what's cool. You get this kind of realistic feel of how the guns and how an actual bank robbery would take place back then. Same with the train robberies. Could you imagine a realistic, like, riding the horse next to the train, jumping onto the train, going in, like gunfighting guards through there, and the just the nail-biting tension of having one chance to get it right. Okay, there wouldn't be permadeath or anything like that in this. It would procedurally generate the jobs themselves, but you could go in with your friends and do this sort of stuff over and over again. That would be my pitch, Project Bank Robbery. So there you go. Nice, short, sweet, and to the point.
Is it first-person shooter?
It would be third-person.
Did you just make that up because you want my vote?
I just made up everything of that pitch, so with the exception of the loose concept. So
Okay.
All right, so this is going to be off the cuff for me, so I'm curious to see how this is going to turn out.
I do tend to fare better in the off the cuff situations.
Yeah, I do not. It's a lot of pauses, breaks, stuff like that. So The pitch I'm going to put forward is going to be called Project Eastern. And it's going to be done by Square. So, Project Eastern, I kind of came with the idea for this because whenever we think of a Western because it's always like the West. The Western... Don't you laugh at me! There's supposed to be silence during this!
Look at me! Don't look at them! They're gonna giggle at you. Just look at me!
It always takes place in the Wild West. In the Wild West. This is actually a futuristic post-apocalyptic Western wherein a natural disaster has destroyed just like the world's sort of ecosystem and has turned the eastern side of the United States into desert. As a result, little settlements and everything have popped up on the eastern side as there's a lot more people like New York, stuff like that, higher population density. So there's a lot more towns and everything over that way. And the lifestyle of the Wild West has been adapted, wherein there's no more technology, anything like that. We have to rely on basic, like the horses and livestock and traditional guns and ammunition. As a result of all of this, people have kind of reverted back in time, but still kept the modern sensibilities almost. So, yeah. That's as far as I get. There's always one spot.
So good.
There's always
so good.
If I don't pre-type these, if I don't think them out ahead of time, inevitably I hit a wall. Okay. And that's my wall.
All right.
So, yeah, west, but the east.
Okay, all right.
Guns, horses, cowboys, yeehaw.
Okay, so with that said...
God, I did it again. I'm sorry.
Neil has almost flipped our table like 13 times.
I do it all the time.
With that said...
Who did you say yours was made by, sir?
Mine is Starbreeze.
What?
That's the developer, yeah.
It's the developer, Starbreeze.
Starbreeze?
Yeah, Starbreeze. I'm pretty sure that's who made Payday.
I don't know.
I looked it up super fast on Bing, so I could be wrong.
So yours is Final Fantasy people?
Yeah,
well, they do. Well, that's the thing.
They also do, like, Outriders would be a good...
Outriders,
like, that's a good example of what you'd want.
I was thinking more so... I should have said Crystal Dynamics, because I was thinking more so like, Tomb Raider.
But that's Square, though.
Yeah, it's still Square.
They're a developer for Square. Square Enix has a lot of developers. They are noted for a lot of JRPG stuff, but like the Marvel Avengers game that I played was
so they're like
Square.
Anime looking kind of.
Not necessarily. Like they have it, like the traditional.
You're gonna make me vote.
No, I'm not. No, I just find it so funny the way you're looking at like the questions you're asking to decide.
It's like with like Square.
Anybody in a blazer and a t-shirt in your game.
Times is hard, so maybe. No, it's more so like the Crystal Dynamics. I was thinking more so like the Tomb Raider.
Yeah. Crystal
things.
Dynamics would be better. What was your project name again?
Eastern.
And you said yours was going to look like what? Payday?
Yeah, Payday.
Payday 3 is that
it would be third person. It would be third person. Payday 3 doesn't exist. Yet. Payday 2. Look up Payday 2.
Payday 3 exists.
As a concept. It's a concept. It's not an actual game though. Look up Payday 2. Are people
going to wear masks?
No. It's a bank robbery game.
I don't know. I kind of like this way of doing the pitch to where there's questions being asked later on.
Yeah, it is nice.
We can kind of like clarify and flesh things out. Actually, do you have any questions about anybody's pitches?
Well, while she's doing, if you don't have any questions, you can go ahead and tell us which one you vote for.
I feel like I missed what the actual game part of your game is.
That's the thing, is I really didn't have one.
Like you had a setting, but it was not like an RPG or anything.
Is it like a sim? Like, do you also become part of the Easter?
Yeah, I think it would be more like... I wouldn't say sim, but more like...
If Neil was smart, he would be like, well, it'd be like you you played a person who lived in a house and paid their bills, and just like tell her it's like The Sims.
No, I think it would be like more like a role-play-y sort of deal. So like like with Skyrim, like how Skyrim, like you are the Dragonborn.
Right.
I
Okay.
am the cowboy.
You am the cowboy. Yes.
I am Will Smith.
You are Will Smith. Yes, you are Will Smith in Wild Wild West. My pitch is Wild Wild West, actually. Let's just go ahead and say it. Yeah, that's my pitch. Robot spiders and legless racists. That's it.
First or third person?
I think it would have to be third. Okay. I don't think I would fare very well as a
rarely
first.
pitch first-person games. I'm not a huge fan of that. Like, it's good in certain situations, but like I like it in Call of Duty and stuff like that. But for the most part, I'd like the periffs, and you don't get periffs with first person. Everybody's like, "Oh, it's like you're there." I'm like, it's not really like you're there because I can do this. I can do this. I can't do that. If I do that with him, I'm all the way over here or all the way over here. So what are you voting for, ladies? You guys have to choose. You both seem very upset with the choice put forth.
I mean, I would know too.
if I had known you guys were going to be here, I would not have picked Western as the thing. I would have picked something else.
I just feel bad. I literally didn't even begin to think about this until we started recording. So this was, and it shows. It really shows.
Honestly, I'm gonna have to go with Zach, and the only reason.
It's because it was an actual pitch.
No, it's because you compared it to Skyrim, which is the most boring thing I've ever seen him play in my life.
She hates Skyrim.
The whole RPG thing, it just
it's not for
so
all people.
Boring.
Yeah.
And I don't play video games. I've only ever watched people play video games.
That is not true. Wholeheartedly not
like
true.
that,
we have a show where you play games.
Yes, but not like...
Where can people find that show, Zach?
Old Man Gaming.
You almost said OMGW, didn't you?
I did. I like that show. Well, okay, so me then.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take a vote.
I can't go for
an
RPG type game.
I usually expect you to vote against me just out of spite.
I mean, I wanted to. I really did.
I feel that.
We're talking.
A podcast. Kind of.
I don't know if you would call this a podcast.
It's a tough one.
Yeah, I'm also gonna have to go Zach.
Yay!
Kayla's like, oh my god, I have to sit in a car with him for an hour.
Now, honestly, like
I should put my hashmark now. You didn't pitch multiplayer. Phil ain't gonna vote for it, so I got him.
Honestly, I should have just, if I was able to say, I actually just forfeit this week.
I get it.
But
can I tell you what I thought you were gonna pitch and why I didn't pitch a certain thing? I was gonna pitch Deadlands. 100% gonna. Well, shit. It's a role-playing game where it's like fantasy Wild West on paper. It's pen and paper role-playing. Like, look it up. It's amazing. It's very popular. And I was like, Neil's definitely going to pitch Deadlands. There's no way. Because you asked me last time when we came up with this, in the Lost episode, you asked me, it's like, does it have to be True West? Or can there be fantasy or sci-fi elements? And I was like, you could have fantasy or sci-fi elements. The minute that happened, I was like, I can't pitch Deadlands. He's going to pitch Deadlands. That's why I didn't pitch Deadlands. I was going to pitch Deadlands.
You honestly had me when you first started because I'm not the biggest shooter type player.
I didn't think I was going to get either one of you guys, honestly.
And
I knew I didn't have a shot in hell.
Not with what I pitched, though. Like, I'm not. It's a multiplayer shooter. Like, I didn't think either one of them were going to want that.
You, after me asking, said it was an RPG and like Skyrim, and you know I love RPGs. And Skyrim. So if that had made it your pitch, you would have got. If you had just been like Skyrim with cowboy hats,
just drop the mic right in the pitch, like Bethesda, Skyrim, cowboy hats. I'm out.
Yeah, I mean,
doesn't even wait around, just walks out of the room.
I mean, I'm sure I would have put that in there had I had an idea in general. Like I said, we've been doing this now for almost 2 hours, and I only started thinking about it then when I was already thinking about doing the actual show.
I cannot wait to edit this down to the hour and 24
minutes that
it is.
It's a good thing we're doing this now at 7 o'clock in the evening as opposed to later.
So, you guys are guests. You have one final responsibility now that you have voted. You get to decide what we have to pitch next week. And it can be anything. You're guests. It has to be basically, it can be a genre of game, it can be an idea of a game, whatever. And you guys have to be unified because we can only pitch one thing.
I want to see you pitch a game that our child could play that you would also enjoy. Not from this is a fun, cute kids game. Like, you would enjoy it as a game.
It's like a family game.
Yeah.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
And we've been playing Mario. What's the Mario game we've been playing?
Deluxe.
And that's a huge struggle. So
it is.
There's your level of complexity.
That's tough. All right. I'm down. I've often wanted one for her, but okay. I'm down. If Kayla's okay with that, okay. So
I'll actually listen
family
next
game.
week to hear what you pitch.
I don't lie to these people.
Okay, I'll ask you next week what you and Neil want.
You'll ask me to play you the section on Horrible Arena. Here's the 5-minute Horrible Arena. Listen to that. All right.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, so that brings us to the end of the show and the shameless self-promotion that comes with it. Of course, do you guys want to promote anything?
You'll soon catch me on Prelude. Did some episodes with you guys.
When is that gonna go up?
Okay, so right now,
today is week 49.
Today is week 49. We are recording this on the same day that week 49, Melissa's Drunken Beast Mode Zuma episode came out. You got 20 views on the last Zuma one, which is high for us. Yeah,
pathetic.
It's high for us.
I know, that's pathetic. That's high, and that many people would be interested in watching Zuma.
That surprised me. Was that many people would want to watch Zuma, but.
Watching someone else play Zuma.
Thanks for really staying positive about the channel as a whole. So that was the 49th episode. We have one big episode that me and Melissa are recording by ourselves where we play basically an hour of Super Mario World. And we're going to just talk about the experience in Prelude, which basically means I'm going to research a whole bunch of facts that Melissa does not remember and talk about them while we play, and she makes fun of me.
I have a horrible memory about stuff like that.
So then we're going to take 1 week off, and then after that, we will start with the Mario Party episodes.
Why will we take a week off?
Because you and I had agreed to take a week off.
Yeah, but we've already got it filmed or recorded.
Okay, here's the thing. Do you want a week off?
I mean, that would be a week off, because we just recorded, 4
No, right. But I mean, do you, like, if you take a week off, it's another week that you don't have to record. We can work out the logistics. Seriously, this is ridiculous.
Coming soon. Well, it'll be announced next week.
It'll be there eventually.
Within 3 weeks, it will be there.
You're just going to have to keep watching the channel.
Yeah, Kayla's got the right idea. It'll be after episode 50. We will have the Mario Party stuff. And then, so, yes. And that was a pleasure to do with both of you as well. So thank you, Kayla, for being here.
Very fun.
Thank you, Melissa, for being here. And yeah.
That was just fucking me, apparently.
Do you have anything to plug? I was getting to you! Oh my god, didn't even let me finish. I was getting into you. Do you got anything to plug, man? Anything specific?
Well,
okay, thanks. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
I mean, I always say the same things every week. Halo Infinite Road.
Halo Infinite Road is so much fun.
Yes.
It's so much fun. Yes. Okay.
And that's about it.
That's about it. All right. I don't have anything specifically special to plug. We don't have any specials coming out this week. However, I do want to say, OMGW, please, OMG Wrestling, please watch it. We put so much work into that. And by we, I mean a lot of me and other people that I drag into it. Put tons of work into that.
Are all of us in it?
Everybody is in it. Everybody's in that. Melissa does the interviewer, plus she does Molly. You do Amy Scott. You have a friend that has never listened to anything we do who does voices in it.
So watch that.
Jack's in it. Yeah, like literally everybody in the community is involved in that show. And it takes so much work. It's so hard to get Ziggy Vans and Blaze Phillips here too. Even though Ziggy hates me for some reason, I'm still pissed about the whole negotiation, but we'll get it right with him. In any case, please check that show out. Please. And for everything else, you can contact us on Facebook at OldManGamingDH, on Twitter at OldManGaming9. You can join our Discord. The link will be in the description below. You can influence this and all of our shows from there. And as usual, You guys keep watching, listening. We'll keep making them. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye. By the way, your daughter had a crumb in her butt.
Is that what that was? You came back laughing. I was like, I can't derail the podcast, but I want to know what was happening.
It must have fallen like when she was eating, standing over there, like,
That's
in
funny.
her pants. So she did. She had a crumb in her underwear, and she was like digging it. Like, what is going on? Do you have to go potty? No. Like, why are your hands in your pants? I have a crumb in my butt. Okay, let's go take care of this.
Oh no.